Big tech is currently spending nearly $800 billion on AI data centers, one of the largest capital expenditures in history. But the hidden costs of AI infrastructure are landing on your doorstep because you're the one paying for the AI industry's lack of return on investment. The AI bubble is here, and it's reshaping the entire economy in ways most people still don't fully understand. What's worse is that big tech doesn't understand it either. That's why we're diving into why the biggest technology companies on the planet are borrowing hundreds of billions of dollars against hardware that depreciates faster than a new car. Why your electricity bill has quietly climbed without anyone sending you a memo, and why a collapse of this bubble wouldn't just hurt tech stocks. It would ripple through your retirement account, your local power grid, and the broader economy in ways that would make 2008 feel familiar. An AI data center isn't the server room your company's IT department runs in the basement. These are industrial-scale facilities drawing as much electricity as a small city, with cooling systems sophisticated enough to prevent billions of dollars of hardware from overheating into an expensive pile of melted silicon. They're built to house hardware so expensive that a standard enterprise data center used to cost $6 to $8 million per megawatt to build. Today, an AI-optimized one runs $15 million per megawatt. A single AI server rack costs $3.9 million. But companies aren't buying one rack. They're buying thousands. The four major hyperscalers, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Meta, collectively spent around $400 billion on AI infrastructure in 2025 alone, more than double what they spent just 2 years earlier. Combined spending across all U.S. data center construction is projected to hit nearly $800 billion by the end of 2026, by some estimates. So here's the question every economist is asking. What's the return on all of that? In almost every other capital-intensive industry, there's a known relationship between what you build and what you earn. A refinery has predictable throughput. A casino has a mathematically guaranteed house edge on every dollar that walks through the door. AI data centers have none of that certainty. There is no proven business model here, at least not yet. Amazon says its AI-related cloud revenue is growing at triple-digit percentages year over year, which sounds extraordinary until you realize triple-digit growth on a small base is still a small number. Advanced chips account for roughly 60% of total investment, and those chips depreciate fast. Each new GPU generation makes the last one less competitive, often within a year or two of release. The $3.9 million rack a company buys today won't be worth $3.9 million in 5 years. It may not be worth much at all. You can't refinance a casino if the cards go bad. In AI infrastructure, the cards go bad on a 12 to 18-month cycle, and the industry keeps buying new cards anyway, because falling behind on hardware means falling behind on the entire AI race. And to finance this race, big tech has borrowed in some unique ways that are only now becoming visible. These companies have moved approximately $120 billion off their own balance sheets through something called a Special Purpose Vehicle, or SPV. Instead of borrowing directly, which would show up as debt and spook investors, a company creates a separate legal entity. That entity borrows the money, builds the data center, and leases it back to the parent firm. The parent gets the infrastructure, and the debt sits in the SPV, so the balance sheet looks clean. This isn't illegal, but it is, however,
and 100% the fastest one I've ever had in my hand.
The 2008 financial crisis so difficult to see coming. It goes further. Some of this debt is collateralized by the GPUs themselves. A company borrows against the hardware depreciates on that same brutal 12 to 18-month cycle, and the lender is left holding collateral worth less than the loan by the time anything goes wrong. Investment banks have extended billions in this kind of financing, and private credit funds, the same funds that manage capital for pensions and university endowments, have become major lenders here. That means some of this debt has quietly migrated into retirement accounts. If your 401k holds a target date fund with private credit exposure, you may already have a small, real connection to AI data center debt. Central banks in Europe and the US have begun sounding alarms about exactly this concentration risk. The industry needs an estimated $1.5 trillion in additional financing by 2028, against revenues that remain, at best, uncertain. There's even a quieter distortion happening underneath all of this. Because data centers are 20 to 30-year assets being financed in a volatile rate environment, developers have piled into pay-fixed interest rate swaps to lock in borrowing costs, over $50 billion in notional value concentrated in this one sector. That's enough one-directional pressure that it started showing up on the radar of central banks and bond investors watching the broader rates market. Here's something people often forget, though. Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Meta aren't the ones actually building most of these data centers. They're the clients. A second tier of companies most people have never heard of is doing the physical construction, and increasingly, the financing, and quietly becoming some of the fastest-growing companies in the American economy. CoreWeave, originally a crypto mining company, pivoted to GPU cloud computing and was recently valued at over $23 billion after a Microsoft contract worth nearly $10 billion. Compass Data Centers has expanded to over 70 facilities on billions in institutional capital. CyrusOne was acquired by KKR and Global Infrastructure Partners for $15 billion. Vantage Data Centers and Stack Infrastructure are just two more in a growing list of names absorbing enormous private capital, while taking on debt that's largely invisible from the outside. Debt that doesn't show up in any headline about big tech's earnings, because technically, it isn't big tech's debt at all. The pattern is worth sitting with. The primary beneficiaries of the AI boom right now aren't the AI companies, whose revenue remains uncertain, but the real estate developers, construction firms, power companies, and credit funds getting paid regardless of whether AI ever delivers the returns being projected. Someone always makes money in a CapEx cycle. The harder question is who holds the risk when the cycle turns, and right now, that risk is sitting in places most people would never think to look. And that's where your electricity bill comes in. In 2023, just before the massive surge in data center energy usage, U.S. data centers used 173 terawatt-hours of electricity, more than the entire consumption of Argentina or Poland. That figure is expected to double or triple by 2028. The power grid in most of the United States wasn't built for this. Much of it was designed decades ago, and upgrading it to accommodate AI infrastructure requires billions in new transmission lines, substations, and generation capacity. Here's the part that affects you directly. In most utility markets, that cost isn't paid by the companies demanding the new capacity. It's spread across all customers. In Northern Virginia, home to what's called Data Center Alley, through which 70% of global internet traffic flows, Dominion Energy proposed its first base rate increase since 1992, about $8.50 a month, partly attributable to data center-driven grid expansion. That's a direct transfer of infrastructure cost from a multi-billion-dollar industry to the people living next to it. About 70 U.S. localities have now imposed moratoriums on new data center construction, and the backlash cuts across party lines in a way that's genuinely unusual. Florida's Republican governor argued publicly that residents shouldn't pay 1 cent more in utilities because of data centers. New York and Maine's Democratic-controlled legislatures voted to pause most new construction entirely. Between March and June of 2025 alone, community opposition led to $98 billion in data center projects being blocked or delayed nationwide. Virginia and Texas are more assertive in their embrace of data centers. Each state provides roughly $1 billion a year in tax exemptions to data centers. One organization that tracks corporate subsidies, called the data center industry, one of the most subsidized they've seen in over 27 years of research. Meanwhile, the average large data center employs fewer than 150 permanent workers, sometimes as few as 25. The jobs promise that anchors most of these local tax deals simply doesn't match the economic reality of a building that runs largely on automation, with most of its operating footprint measured in megawatts, not headcount. Step back and the full picture comes into focus. NVIDIA is winning right now regardless of outcome because their customers take the risk, and NVIDIA takes the margin, with data center revenue projected at $150 billion by the end of 2026. The developers win as long as leases hold and debt stays serviceable. Their real exposure is duration. What happens if hyperscaler demand slows, or a newer chip generation makes today's facilities obsolete before the debt is paid down? The hyperscalers are betting AI revenue eventually justifies the spend, and they have the balance sheets to wait longer than anyone else, which is exactly why they moved $120 billion off those balance sheets in the first place. And ordinary people, ratepayers, taxpayers, workers in towns promised jobs that never came, pension holders with private credit exposure, are absorbing costs they never voted on and were rarely told about clearly. The casino always wins eventually, but in this industry, nobody has proven the math yet. The house edge on artificial intelligence is still, at this moment, theoretical, and the building cost is soaring toward $1 trillion in the years to come. Whether that turns out to be the smartest capital allocation in tech history or one of the largest misallocations since the dot-com era will depend on something nobody in this story can fully control. Whether AI actually generates the revenue everyone is betting it will. Either way, the bill is already being paid by retirement accounts, by ratepayers, and by communities that never got a vote. In other words, by you.